Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live Scribbles with Jonathan. You can check out my website and my work at. Oh wait, the site doesn't work. It's a really. It's not a weird story, but for some reason, I guess my hosting is through GoDaddy. Didn't it doesn't work or something? So I've had to switch some stuff here and there. So if you actually go to my website, jonathanrector.com, it's a blank WordPress site. I think even all the old posts I have are all gonzo. But I'm going to try my best to somehow figure a way, if I can, to get it back. But for now, anyway, at least to where I've moved to, seems much more stable. So that's good. And before we get into what we're going to do today, just a couple of things. I'll be streaming for 2 hours to make up for yesterday. Apparently, yesterday, my posts, I have an app on my phone called Every Post, and you can link all kinds of accounts so that when I send something out to you guys, that it goes to Facebook, Twitter, all the cool stuff. And on my end, it said it had sent. And I was out for my girlfriend's birthday that night, and apparently it didn't get sent. So I apologize to anybody that's in the room tonight or that might be watching the recording that you missed the show, or if unfortunately you're actually in the room waiting for the show to start. I apologize big time for that. So that's why I'm trying to do the 2 hours tonight. So if you guys can't stick around for the 2 hours, that's okay. Thank you for even coming back, and I appreciate you guys, hopefully not hating me too much for that. What else are we going to talk about? Oh, okay, so the websites are down. However, I did get one thing started here, so I'll just show you guys. I'm still calling it a quiet launch. That's my webcomic, jessupking.com. I wanted to talk about it a little bit. And the reason why I'm saying it's a quiet launch, even though I'm telling you guys on this and I'll be uploading it on YouTube, I plan on trying a whole marketing campaign in a way. Should be interesting. So I'd like to share that with you guys once that gets started. But building up something around this so that as the book comes out, or just to build some awareness. So right now when I say it's quiet, the average amount of people that will actually check this out are probably very low anyway. So that's okay. There's a lot that still needs to be fixed. I'm still learning WordPress, learning Comic Press, which this is here. I wanted to thank my good friend Heather Breckel. She actually provided me with a link, and I'll get that link to anybody that wants it. If you guys are interested in doing something like this, it was an awesome tutorial on how to just get everything together and get your webcomic on here. So what's on Jessup King right now? Jessup King was done, oh man, I want to say in 2012, maybe 2011, maybe that early. And it was my first jump into mini comics. And the whole idea there was just make a character or make a mini comic. 7 pages. It was another 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Folded over twice. It's 8 pages, including a cover there. And I just went with it. And there was I learned a lot. But I came up with a character here that I kind of fell in love with. And you guys have seen me, just posting pictures of drawings of him. Lately, I've been posting pictures because of what I'm doing in the background here. A little disclaimer, some of the ideas that I've been doing, Godslayer, Spectacular Z, those are all on the back burner to get done. But I was sort of working on them while doing just illustrations for this. Kind of, putting up a smoke screen so it looked like I was still producing content for something that I had no intentions of doing right now. Jessup King is a perfect character, world, and story that I can just do this, hopefully. That's the plan. So anyway, I got this. It's all up. Everything's good to go. So right now, for the next 7 days, I'm releasing all 7 pages of that mini comic. Right now, I believe we're on to page 2. You guys can go back if you wanted to check it out and see the cover. It's a colored cover. And here, I'll just go with you guys real quick, just so you guys can see something else while we're talking. And yeah, like I say, there's a whole bunch that still needs to get done. The comic itself isn't even up. The whole point of this is just to show, I call it the origin story. I'm actually kind of redesigning the character, but he came from a mini comic, and I just wanted to post it so it's always up online. You guys can always check it out. If you like it, cool. If you don't, that's cool. Yeah, actually, I'm looking at the date. It's 2011, so he's come quite a ways. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that real quick, just to give you guys a little update as to what's going on online with me and stuff. And as you can notice, I'm actually in Photoshop right now, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about that, why I'm drawing comics in that instead of Manga Studio. and all that stuff as this goes. But this show is for you guys and you girls out there. So, like I say, it's 2 hours. If you guys have any art questions or anything that you guys would like me to answer, if I can answer it, by all means, put it in the chat in all capitals. That way, you know, as I ramble, I can see it. So let me just go up here, just make sure I'm not missing what everybody's saying. Ian's asking, have I heard about the new program called Mischief? It's pretty bare bones, like Art Rage, but it has an infinite zoom function. An artist could basically draw a figure on an 11 by 17, then paint. No, I've heard of Art Rage, but I haven't checked that out. I'm pretty set in Photoshop and I guess Mega Studio myself, but definitely check it out if you guys are into Art Rage. Lars is saying he had the chance to play with a Cintiq all day. The benefits to having a vacation, but it still feels weird compared to traditional. Yeah, like if you haven't even used a tablet before, and when I say tablet, I mean like a Bamboo or a Intuos or something that's not made by Wacom. Yeah, I guess it would be a pretty big leap. There is something that you need to separate. Like you're not drawing exactly where the cursor is. There's a little bit of, there's glass in the way, but you will get over it, I think. It's easier to learn how to use a Cintiq than it is to use a tablet, in my opinion. Jonathan, read the other half of that. That's the cool bit. Okay, sorry, Ian. Oh, the 11 by 17 thing. Okay, so let me just reread it because an artist could basically draw a figure on an 11 by 17, then paint another full-size piece in the fingernail of the figure without any loss of resolution. Yeah, that's actually pretty slick. So you could do like those, when you're saying infinite zoom, are you talking about like those images where it's like you'll see a painting and then you just zoom into it, into the guy's nose, and then inside his nose is a whole world, and then inside the world is a water, like that kind of stuff? That is pretty cool. Okay, so while we're waiting for questions, if there are any, let's go ahead and quickly talk about why I'm using Photoshop. There was a tutorial I picked up last week, I believe it was, by a fantastic illustrator by the name of Dave Raposa. I first found out about his art through Magic the Gathering, the card game. But then I quickly found out that he did some really awesome concept art, not concept art, but paintings of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And they were like realistic turtles and stuff. Anyway, he's an awesome artist. Check him out, Dave Raposa. And he just released a tutorial for his one of his newer comic book styles that he's drawing, because he's not traditionally a comic book artist. But it's only $5. Oh man, it was one of the best tutorials I've ever bought, especially for the price, man. It's like a steal. The brushes you get, I think I have them all. I have them somewhere else. We might grab them in a little bit. But yeah, man, it was an incredible video. And actually, it kind of got me towards this style here for Jessup King. And it kind of changed my ideas of where the book was kind of going and what it's looking like. And what this tutorial offered me, anyway, was a way to look at making the comic a little different. And what it is really there's no inks. It's all pencils. And then the shadows are just, it's a color shadow. And it's very simple. If you guys watch the Spectacular Z or Spectacular Red, it's the same sort of style where I just use like a purplish blue for the shadow. But in that tutorial, Dave, he goes over why he makes those certain color choices and stuff. Check it out. I highly recommend it. Nope, we want to go into comics, personal, Jessup King. Let's see if I can find, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. There's so much stuff in here. Crystal work sketch sheet. For fun. Maybe it's just one of these. Let's just check this out. This might be what I'm looking for. It might not be. No, that's something else. But anyway, it allows me to be much more quick, which is exactly what I want from this webcomic. As much as I love doing really polished artwork, like I'm sure everybody likes seeing that stuff, this look, this style that I got from, just checking out Dave Raposa's stuff, really cool stuff. Really, really cool. Let's sort of pull it up here so you guys can see it. I'm actually going to be working on this one here, Jessup Eating. It's kind of like whenever you read manga, you always have like the characters like Goku or something in Dragon Ball, and he's just like throwing rocks across the river. It's cool, you know. It's you don't always have to show your Superman flying. You know, you can have Superman. You know, like some of the coolest, in my opinion, some of the coolest illustrations are of like Batman helping kids, or you know, just doing something that is the character that's not always action. You know, I can't believe I don't know where this picture is. I mean, I guess I could go to. Oh, that's why. I apologize. I don't actually have it on here. I did it at work on lunch. So let me just pull up Facebook. And if you guys want, if you guys head over to Jessup King or Jessup King on Facebook, again, I'll be rolling all this stuff out later. No need to get all. If you guys are even into this stuff, but on the Jessup King fan page, I'm releasing just sketches on there that I'm not really putting online. I shared this one. This is one of his little buddies. I guess I could have just showed that. That's the style I'm going for here. That's taking too long. Speaking of Dave Raposa, there he is. Let's go to my fan page. Shouldn't have to scroll too much to find it. Jeez. Oh, Cintiq, you're so sensitive. Right here. So this is the style that it's looking like it's going. So as you can see, some of the cats that were talking on Facebook, they're like, you know, what's up with the lack of inks and stuff like that. And again, that's the whole reason. I feel like when you look at this, you don't need it. I can add some line weights here for the hand to make it pop, but it's rough, it's quick. To me, anyway, it still looks good. It feels fresh to actually work this way. So I'm excited. And I think that's pretty good, especially when you are looking for ways to get work done. You know, I have client work that needs to have a certain look to it. And sometimes, you know, I wish I could just have everything look like how I'm doing it right now. Well, more traditional comic book style, right? But I'll be honest with you guys and girls. I was actually talking to Will Robson today, well, briefly, but, or no, sorry, not, another buddy of mine, Andrew Kovo. And we just started talking very, very briefly about the female Thor. I don't want to talk about it too much because I'll be absolutely honest with you guys. I don't care. But I noticed my feed was just lighting up with people posting stuff about it. And I can get it. I get it. Like, if he's a favorite character of yours or there's something, you know, you're allowed to like what you like. Nobody's really going to tell you or should tell you what's right or wrong with why you like something, as long as you know why you like it, right? But while everybody's, you know, busy fighting over that, I was checking out webcomics to get some inspiration for what I could be doing with Jessup King and stuff. And, guys, there's a reason why, and I know I keep saying this stuff, and, it's, you know, whatever, might sound like a little whiny kid. But the more independent comics I find, the more independent comics I read, the more web comics I read. And I say web comics differently than indie comics because it's a different format of reading. And I'm not 100% sold myself on reading comics on a computer, but, you know, lots of people like it. Lots of people like reading on their smartphones and stuff. But the creativity, whew, and most of these are just from one person, right? Like, and even manga, like manga has really got me down this road where it's just unique stories, in my opinion, anyway. At least the ones that I'm reading, where it's so fresh, it's so different that it's energizing, it's refreshing to bring that stuff back into maybe this sort of style, this traditional superhero style. And I've said it before, this isn't to say that, like, if I ever got the opportunity to draw the Hulk or something, that I wouldn't take it. I'm more than sure that I would. But again, you know, the feeling I got for just getting a webcomic started is it's a high. And I understand it's new project stuff where you always get that it's new and shiny and it always feels good and stuff usually goes away. But I don't know. I'm just getting right now. I just feel like that's the good stuff. So while everybody was posting that stuff about the Black Captain America and all this stuff, you know, argue as much as you want if you like your characters. You're allowed to, right? But I didn't really have an opinion. It was just kind of like, okay, it's normal stuff. It's the companies trying something new without trying something new to get people to read their books, and can't really get mad at them. They want to make money too. So if people get so mad that they buy it just to see how shitty it is, then they're still, it's still working for them. And Ian saying inks are overrated. Thumbs up, man. So we got some potato chips. Why was I talking about? I was gonna ramble on about why I'm in. Oh right, so I'm using Photoshop. I messed around with some brushes. I was watching rewatching some Todd McFarlane tutorials, and there was like a very quick Assassin's Creed. It's a video game for those of you that might not know. He was doing a poster for the Ubisoft. And he's using he's got the big ass Cintiq, and he's using Photoshop, and his lines they looked good, but the camera was at a distance. The camera's maybe right here, right? And obviously your lines always look better the more you're zoomed out. But I just started watching some stuff and playing around, and at work I always use Photoshop as well. And it's always a treat to come home to crack open Manga Studio, but there's just something about Photoshop that I miss kind of working that way. So. This page, anyway, it's a little bit different in the story. This is still all The World's in Peril. Kyle Simmons' book, that role-playing book that I told you guys about. And this one is just all the characters actually sitting around the table playing. So this would be one of the character sheets, not good stuff. Actually, she needs a pen to write this stuff down. Let's do a pencil. Anyway, that's why I'm in Manga Studio. And at the same time, a lot of the tutorials that I'm looking at online, including that Dave Raposa one that I just talked about, it's all Photoshop. Just because that's what I think people are used to. If you're used to Manga Studio, stick with it. If you like the results you're getting with it, stick with it. If you got time to experiment with something else, why not? What's the worst that's going to happen? I don't know what's going on with this here. Whoops. It's curving up. But I just want to finish this panel here, and then I'm going to jump back into doing the Jessup King picture, so you guys get to see that. And again, if you guys have any comments or questions, if you need any help, the show's for you guys. So feel free to just toss them into the chat room in all capitals. Oh, and I was checking some analytics out just for kicks, because those are fun to look at. And there was a mass spike the last video, and I don't know why. So I want to just say thanks again to everybody that, if you did anyway, that reshared, liked, or retweeted, or whatever, anything. Really appreciate that, guys. Really do. Alright. Let's just put some quick texture on here. I don't want to spend too much time on this stuff. You're not even going to be able to tell. Look at that, gross. Okay, so we got some speech bubbles that are here, and I think, yeah, there's another one here. And I just noticed that I just put the pencil there. So, beauty's the digital, right? We're just going to actually move this. And I was supposed to do this before. Actually, let's do some storytelling here. Let's use that pencil. We're going to actually tilt it towards... that's actually very small. Let's make it a little bigger, like it actually fit in the hand. Just going to tilt it towards here. Just be careful. Where can we put it? We'll put it here. The whole reason is I just want to make sure that everything in here is pointing at this sheet, right? So I want to make sure that it's not getting lost here. Oh, the paper, I see. All right, cool. So I think that's pretty much it for that pan. Well, maybe we should get to the inks. It's up to you guys. Hey, Skrill. Ba da ba da ba. Okay. Oh, that's what. Sorry, I always end up rambling when I get into this stuff. I was supposed to add in a layer for where my rough dialogue would be, so I'd know where I need to draw, where I don't. So I think maybe what we'll do is I just want to do because it's not enough work just to leave here. 1, 2, 3. We'll go to panel 3. I'm just gonna ink this guy up here, and let's see what's that brush look like. It's pretty thin. 7. All right, we're just gonna jack that up to 10. All right, so let's do the contour around this cat. Bando is asking, Jonathan, isn't the pencil too parallel to the sheet of paper? Let's see. Oh, you mean like it looks like it might be sticking up here? Well, I haven't done my inking or anything yet, so maybe this might help. This is what I was planning on doing with something like this. So the lighting is always coming straight down on these guys. And if you can just kind of do that there. Sometimes you can just do, like this little shadow right there, that bend, will help sell this kind of stuff big time, I think. So I don't know. You guys can let me know if that looks a little better. I mean, what I don't like, to be honest with you guys, is this right here. This kind of just looks weird. It's like she's here, and then there's there's something in the way. So I might get rid of it, but we'll see. I don't know how I feel about it just yet, so I'm just gonna leave it there. Oh, Lars, did you post a picture? Did you want me to share it with everybody? I'm sure it sounds like everybody else is already in the chat checking it out. I'm just going to find Lars's link so people on YouTube can see it. Oh, it's Facebook, I think. Let's see if that works. Oh man, look at that Batman. You know what I like right away? You got the purple shadows in there. Mm-hmm. Good looking stuff, man. Are we Lars? Where you at, buddy? Where you at? Oh, we are friends. Good. Okay, cool. Yeah, keep it up, man. Looks good. Okay, so let's just do this. I'm really antsy to get, usually the way it goes, to do some Jessup King stuff. So let's just get this character kind of going. I want to give this guy those hipster glasses. Hipster-ish glasses, anyway, I should say. Or are they hipster glasses? I don't even really know it's hipster, I'll be honest. I think I hear hipster all the time, and I'm like, oh, I guess. I don't know. I guess what a hipster is. I just want to give them those thick black glasses. Makes them look smart. It's starting to look ridiculous. Okay, so let's get that thick contour line around everything. And then we're going to go in again and just put the fine lines in. Maybe I just need to do a Wikipedia search or something on hipsters. I don't know. Or like Urban Dictionary would be the place to go for that stuff. So I just want to address one thing here because I think some people maybe that work in Photoshop might not know about or why they don't like using Photoshop. So if you look in here, like look at these wacky lines. Those are JagFest, right? Like oh, shaky McShakes. When you're done this, I recommend getting again. Can't go a show without talking about it. The DC Guide to Digitally Drawn Comics. Freddie actually goes in there and he'll talk about a step once you're done your art. You bitmap it, and it makes these look. I don't want to say extra jaggy, but when you print them out, they're like butter smooth. He should take a picture of his food if you want to be a hipster. Oh man. Okay. Let's get these hands in there. I think, yeah, okay, that's good. All right, let's go. Let's get some greasy details in there, boys. Oh, they don't show like yeah. Sorry, Ian's saying that these wacky tacky lines they don't really show up in that program you're talking about. What was it, Mischief? They really don't show up in Manga Studio either. I'm more than sure it's just a sensitivity thing in Photoshop. The more comfortable you get with it, the less jaggy or jitters you get, and the fact that you can turn oh man, stabilization on, and that will help people that do have like a natural shake to their hand. Trying to make these glasses 3D objects. All right, let's get this nose going here. Let's try a little bit of different stuff tonight with this. Oh, I want to go that way with it. I'm just gonna flip it here. Give them all 3D. Let's see how this side's looking. Yeah, that's fine. Starting to look like Bebop. So this guy here, this character, he's the I don't know the name in this game, but in Dungeons and Dragons, he'd be your dungeon master. So So I want them to have that, obviously, for whatever reason, people with glasses look smarter. Look. But I don't want them to look like a douchebag, so maybe those glasses, well, easy. I'll be careful. And this style here of them inside, I want to look different than the rest of the comic. The rest of the comic, it's very, my kind of style where there's a lot of inks getting thrown around. I guess my house style, if you want to call it that. Whereas inside here, I want to let the colorists kind of take over and get some moonlighting in there, Get some nice warm oranges and, basement colors. We're going to save the eyes for last here, but I want to get the eyebrows. So he is just excited to tell you about your character sheet. Yeah, put some stats into willpower and you can leap over a building, no problem. Cha, you could totally do that. So here, I'll show you what he's talking about here. So the character, what she did is she jumped the last page. At the end there, the character's running across the building tops. And all of a sudden, a red light hits her in the chest. And she's like, oh God, what do I do? So this is where he starts telling her, well, what stats do you have? So this panel here, let me just turn this up so you guys can actually see some art here. It's kind of crazy, but so there's this line that follows from the top left. It's flipped the other way. Remember, I flipped the canvas. But whoever had that red light on her shoots, and it breaks the glass, and she jumps off this platform here like a gargoyle sort of thing, dodges it, and then here she's free falling down. We're gonna have all these speed lines with the buildings. What I want to do though is actually here. We'll do it while we're in here. Just want to lower these lines. I thought this kind of pose was, it's actually, I don't know, I still like it. I don't mind it. It's kind of like a cool look, but it's too maybe stiff. So I wanted to bring the legs up a bit. Well, not even a bit, probably quite a bit. She's got her hips here. So her body's actually going to change here. Let's just change it all right now. And then her boobies gotta kind of point up a bit. Up a bit. This one's just taking off. Gravity's a beast. Alright. Kind of get some shapes there, and then have a hint to where I'm going to put my kneecaps. A little bum there, and then that should be good. That's probably a little bit better. At least there's some action to it. It's not just like a, just falling. Yes, Ian, these, if you're talking to me, I just pop up and I check every now and then. These live streams are supposed to be, every Wednesday, yes. But it was my girlfriend's birthday yesterday, and my notification to let you guys know didn't send. I know that sounds like a lame excuse. I use a app on my phone called Every Post, so I link all my Twitter and all that stuff on there, so I don't have to keep signing into all these things just to make a post. And I had thought it sent. I got the confirmation that it sent, but apparently you guys didn't, which is a huge bum out. Because people that came by, it was a big waste of their time. I'm not a fan of that. Alright. So again, even the rendering I want to keep here, very minimal stuff here. Just enough to give it some, there's stuff happening here, but I just want these pages here to be somewhat quick. There's actually a panel up here where they're all kind of just, she's flipping her paper up because of that red light that hit her, and he's kind of letting her know, oh, this is that and this is happening. And there's two other people here. One guy's eating some chips. These guys are just kind of talking. She's the new player. She's, I guess, you. to show you how to make a new character in this superhero role-playing game. And then he points to it. Anyway, this is what I was trying to say. This shot here I want to reuse quite a bit, so I'm going to spend some time, not with you guys, this is kind of boring, doing this background stuff here so that I can just copy and paste it. I don't think people mind too much as long as it's not so in your face it's ugh. Ian saying, actually, Jonathan, the three of us had a really good time without you. There were laughs and shenanigans aplenty. Great. Good. It'll help me sleep tonight. Actually, Skrill, you're here, so I guess I can throw one at you, a little curveball. And the reason I'm asking her is I know she has a webcomic. If there's anybody else in the chat that does, please let me know because I'm trying to broaden my horizons with webcomics. So please don't be shy. Let me know you got one. I'm trying to get into a routine of every day if I can. I mean, what's going to happen is I'm just going to have such a huge catalog of things to read that it's just not going to happen. But I don't think there's anything wrong with having a cycle of comics that you check out every week, right? Like if you're reading comics all the time, like how is that bad? I don't think it's bad. Yeah, so what I wanted to ask you, Scrail, was how long did it take you to get into a flow and a rhythm, if you've even got there yet, of, I guess, scheduling around when you're going to work on your comic. If you have a day job, I'm not sure, and like how you balance all that stuff. I know that's probably a loaded question to answer in chat, so you don't have to answer it. But I'm just curious from people that are actually doing this sort of thing. Lars is saying, I think it took us like 25 minutes to realize that we were watching a pre-recording video. Oh, that's funny. Well, thanks for being such kick-ass people. I mean, there could have been... here's the thing. Whenever I find, anyway, when you're doing something like this that's public, so I try to announce that, we do this show every Wednesday. But it's a promise, right? But it's a business promise as well. Like, as much as I don't want to turn this into like a, greasy company thing or anything, ideally, some of you guys still go to my YouTube channel, right? And whether or not you're giving me money or not, that's not the reason why I'm doing this. But if you watch a video, unless you have ad blocker on anyway, I get some cash thrown my way from YouTube. So when certain things like last night happen where an update doesn't get sent to the people that matter most, you guys, that's the whole point of even doing this. Well, it's fun for me too. I want to say that, the conversations you guys get me into, like, it's I'm having a blast doing this stuff. But like when you get, like, it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship, right? Anybody that does videos, you guys might agree or might disagree. But I make stuff because it helps me stay focused to do this, and it makes it more enjoyable. But then you guys get me thinking about things and questions, and just Patreon, for example. I only heard that because of, I think it was Eric Faries. I believe he posted it one night, and I could be wrong, but it's like something like that where, it's just good stuff all the way around. And then when I try to promise a show every week at a certain time and then something doesn't happen, it's sort of like credibility getting kicked in the dink. It's not It's not good. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes to go. Because I know there's certain artists that I follow that I like to check out their streams, and when they don't show up, or you don't even know if they're streaming, like I've organized nights around this, and I'm not saying you guys do, and if you do, I mean that's huge. But I remember knowing that a certain artist that I was following was like, oh, I'm gonna live stream this Friday or something, and it was, oh, this is great. I actually get to see this person work, and it, this is gonna be great. And I got everything ready. I was like, all right, well, I gotta leave this meeting or this discussion with some people that I had to have early just so I could be at home on time. And it turned into a thing, and then the person didn't even show up, and it's just, ugh, it's not cool. So that's the side that I got bummed out on. So that's why I'm saying you guys are pretty cool when you guys are telling me you guys can still have a good time and not want to check this stuff out anymore. So thank you. Let me look up here. Oh yeah. All right. So let's see if we know how to. 1 second, guys. If I can I ban this? Banning. All right. Yeah. Forever gone. Okay. So hopefully that's gone. Yeah. Okay. They're banned. Sorry about that. I was. Those are sounds that came up. Anyway. I guess Skrill answered. Thank you so much, Skrill. She said, "Well, her husband is the writer." Ah, that's the trick. I gotta get some people in my life to help me out here. Okay, so her husband is the writer, and he from the get-go said that you couldn't miss a deadline at all. So needless to say, I was on the hook for 4 work days a week. He jokes that he keeps me chained to the desk and cracks a whip over me. We got a whole bunch of scut there. Yes, I need to marry a guy. That's my problem. So that's where I start falling apart right off the get go. I don't have a man in my life that can chain that can chain me to a desk and crack me with a whip. See, bad life choices. I've made bad life choices. That's why I'm so venomous about not working for the big companies. Ugh, gross. All right, well, yeah, thanks for the feedback. I mean, I'm not like I said, I haven't even done anything yet, right? Like I just showed you guys the site, and it's still very primitive, and we'll get there. There's no rush, but it's fun. It's fun to think about. So I know I like to do this thing. You guys let me know if anybody in the chat room does this, and I learned this from that motivational speaker Tony Robbins. So you can judge me all you want. But he talked about, or at least this method that I had heard, is something called role modeling. So if you want to get somewhere, let's just say, and I'm just going to, and I don't mean this in a selfish way, I'm just saying it because, it'll probably, well, no, we'll do it the other way. So I want to make a webcomic like Skrail does. Just like hers. Not the story and stuff, but she gets a lot of people. She talks about it. She gets jazzed. I notice she's at a point where I want to get, but I don't have anything. So what you do with role modeling is you find people that have what you don't have. Sorry. Yes, that have what you want. And if you can, research about them in a non-creepy way. Ask them questions. If they're lucky, they'll answer. But basically do everything they do. In this case, I can't marry, well, I can, but I'm not going to marry a man. But for her, what worked, right, was asking somebody else in her life if they wanted to help, I'm assuming. And by the sounds of it, she was fortunate enough that her husband was the lucky recipient. So theoretically, if I do everything that she did, or everything that she does, I should experience the same success. Now, granted, there is things such as lightning in a bottle, right? Like she could have just made a book about cats that at the time, something happened where cats just took off, and now she's the #1 cat webcomic on the internet, right? Who knows? But I believe anyway. There's something there. There's something there that is right. I know I've done it myself with concept artists, and I've deviated from time to time. But there was an artist. This is so long ago, guys, and I forget. It was a comic book artist. It wasn't like Jim Lee or any of those guys. It was a European artist that I don't know. I just liked his style. And I was reading something where the guy said like, "Oh, I drew for 5 hours a day after school and stuff." And at the time, I was in high school, and I was like, I can totally do that. I should do it. And I just did anatomy for 5 hours a day for I think like 4 or 5 months, and it was brutal. And I'm not saying that now I can just draw kick-ass anatomy, but I'm more comfortable than I was. So there's different levels of goals you can do with this sort of thing, right? But I honestly believe there's something there. And if you guys haven't tried it, I just hope you don't just hear what I'm saying and just kind of like, oh, it's just that self-help bullshit stuff. Just if you can, I just think try it. Oh, God. Oh, and thank you, Skrill. I really appreciate that. It's very humbling. Ian saying, Jonathan, if I may, I think a big part of your problem is that you keep trying to tackle what Alan Moore calls the space opera. Everybody's massive epic hero story that'll redefine the world. As he would say, start smaller. Do a daily Jessup King fights generic monsters, 6 panels a week. See, now you're actually getting to where I was talking about in the beginning. A lot of the stuff that I was showing you guys, and this was me just being a little devious, a little sneaky. I was doing Jessup King stuff in the background, but I was putting out things like Godslayer and even Spectacular Z. Those are projects I want to do, but they're going to take more time. But what I was doing was just taking some time to develop them a little bit and use that as the platform that I was going to go with. I had all intents to actually use Jessup King. Now, he's not going to be that space opera epic thing because of exactly what you said. What you said is 100% on the ball. I don't have the time right now to do an epic book. I want to just be able to come home when I can to work on my own stuff and just do that. And because I don't have the time, and I don't want to take the time to figure all this stuff out before even working, it's a waste of time to me. I'd rather just draw. And if it's this guy fights this thing or helps this person, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So what you're saying, 100% I agree with you. And honestly, it just lets me know that I'm making some right choices if everybody else is kind of, not everybody, but I mean, some people are being vocal about the same thing that I'm thinking of. So it just makes me, again, think that it's probably the right call. So this guy's looking pretty much done. He's looking a little cartoony. He's looking a little fresh, a little funky fresh. Let's see if we turn the pencils off, see how he looks. Yeah, doesn't look bad. It looks like something that come out of, like, I don't know, Mega Studio. I don't like this little, like, whatever the hell's on his face. Let's just get rid of that. Maybe we put some other detail in there. Maybe bring his cheekbones in. I have no I forget what this guy's name is. Call him Steve. Steve's fine. He's got this huge mouth. I don't know why. I don't know why he's got a huge mouth, but that's kind of fun. And then like down here it'd be like his table. Then we're just gonna do like the cheesy kind of shading down there. It's basically what it'll look like there. But anyway, I've had enough of this. We're gonna save it, and for I guess the next hour. Yes, I'm keeping stuff from you. Yes, I am. But you guys will see it in time. Actually, you're gonna see some right now. And it's not really, it's for Jessup King. I'm just going to keep saying that name to hammer it in your guys' head until it gets so annoying. And it's just like, oh, gross. But what I'm going to do is this picture, again, what I was talking about, what I enjoy about manga, is you get these pictures every now and then that are maybe in between chapters or something, or it's a picture of somebody doing something that they would do in their normal life. And this one, if I'll close... And I'll show you why I kind of dig this stuff. This one is just Jessup eating. That's all he's doing, just eating. He's eating like these worm thingies. And he's probably sitting at a bar eating this stuff. like an outside bar. But the reason why I like doing this sort of thing is because it makes you think about the environment. The character's still in there, but it's not an action shot. He's not beating people up, right? He's eating. So there has to be other people around there that are probably eating. So here we go. So this is, and if we're lucky, hopefully I can finish this, and then we can get some colors on there. So here he's a big, massive guy, and he's eating like these worm thingies here, if you guys can kind of see him. Just gross. I thought it'd be kind of funny. The original idea was to give him like some chopsticks or something, and just all in his mouth here would have been like spaghetti, just slurping it up. But I just figured, you know, have a little worm, makes a little kind of gross. Plus, I could draw some really cool alien space dudes. So this guy, girl thing, I don't know what it is. I think what I wanted to do is this person kind of like, you know, oh man, look at the muscle. Look at this guy. And then this dude, snorkel face here, he's just grossed out. Like, ugh, how could you be eating that? And Jessa might be up here watching like a TV screen or something like that. I don't know. But I really just want this here, maybe put like a table, and then up here, even without a TV, we could probably put like a banner or something like this. Like he's eating at a restaurant. Maybe put some stands up like this or something. Who knows? I don't want to go too I don't want to turn this into a full illustration. I just want it to be a cool little fun shot. Let me just see what we got here. Ian saying, for the record, you are published. That's miles beyond where most people get. The fact that some of us show up for the stream a day early, even unintentionally, should tell you you are doing something right in your life. Hey, honestly, and like it's, I say it all the time. I know that it's very cheesy to say it, but I live for hearing stuff like that. You know, it makes doing this just that extra sweetness. When I was in New York, would it be 2 years ago now? I think it was 2012 when I met John Lees for the first time, the writer of The Standard, not my husband, Screll. I met him for the first time. Awesome stuff. Had a great experience there. And it had been a while since I've gone to conventions. And I'm not kidding you. I went to the DC booth or the DC presentation to have, you know, hopefully I could get my work for DC, you know, that kind of stuff. Bring my portfolio to them and hope for the best. As I was leaving, I don't know what it was. One person was actually there that said it. But then there was, I think, four. I'm not even kidding you. 4 people on the way back to the booth that they were like, "Hey, are you, you know, Jonathan or whatever?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, "Oh, I watch your YouTube show." And it's such a small thing. It's a stupid small thing, right? But it was just like, oh man, like, and it's not a celebrity thing. I don't get into that. I don't get turned on to all that stuff. But I guess ultimately what I'm trying to do here, this stuff, and I don't, you know, get in the sob story. I want to start talking about some cool stuff soon. But is that a lot of tutorials help me get where I'm at. A lot of really cool people help me get where I'm at. And it was just me looking online for stuff, talking to people. And if it wasn't for those people being willing to just, even if they're not the best at what they do, just put what they're doing out there, you'd be surprised at how many people get stuff like that. So now that I'm able to do that, that's the whole point. Is, you know, you hear people say like pay it forward and stuff, and essentially that's what I'm doing. If people even like my stuff, cool. Even if a lot of people hate it, cool. There's going to be some people out there that, there's probably more people out there that get something out of it. And that's the whole point, right? Is if I can help somebody else, then it's kind of like I'm doing my job. Somebody help me get where I'm at. And it'd be kind of selfish and wouldn't be right. I don't think it'd be right to just kind of, it's not like I have secrets in my head. Nothing like that. But to just keep all that information to yourself, I don't know. What's the point? Why even draw? Why tell stories, you know? Like I'm trying to, that's what this is. This is supposed to just start something in me that I can start moving comics out there that maybe help people. Just give them a laugh, you know, give them a good time. But anyway, so again, if you guys have any comments or questions, put them into the chat. We're doing the 2-hour show tonight, so there's a whole other hour. Normally the show's every Wednesday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have a question, just put it in the comment bar in all capitals, and I'll do my best to answer it if I can. So I'm going to put this creature's fingers together, like they're clasping, like, oh boy. And I'm really going to move to actually finish the pencils on this. And then we'll throw some colors on there. And actually, what I'm going to be doing is what's talked about briefly. What I'm doing is briefly. It's not. That's not the right word. I'm doing what the Dave Raposa method is. I've actually learned quite a bit of cool stuff in it. I'll share with you guys too if you stick around, if you're into that, especially for coloring. But I still highly recommend getting that tutorial. If I guess you've seen me posting, if that looks interesting, or if you just like Dave Raposa's stuff, it's $5. And again, if you like that style, check it out. If not, I mean, who knows? Okay, so let's give this guy or girl. Let's make it a girl. So should we just do the eyelashes? Cheese it out. So want the gnarled teeth. Maybe she braids these little like things that stick out. God, that's crazy. Okay, everybody's lightening up, so let me just go up there. If I'm going to Copenhagen Comic Con the Copenhagen Comic Con is every other year next summer. I'll come and say hello if you go. Copenhagen. Whew. I'm in Canada. I struggle to get to the U.S. I'm honestly, guys, what I'm hoping, I'll just give you a real quick rundown. What I'm hoping is getting the Jessup King stuff launched this year in full force, meaning like there's a schedule that the pages are coming out. And then my goal is next year to actually start hitting up especially local conventions and pushing stuff. So in time, hopefully I can see you guys all in person. If you're interested, give me a handshake, say thanks. Okay, so Ian's saying, honestly, I don't even come here for your art. Stylistically, I'm more of a classic illustration fan, so there isn't always a lot for me to take away in that regard. However, I think it's incredible that you're putting yourself out there like this. Well, thank you, Ian. I actually would suggest you try it, especially if you're doing a different style. I think the more people that are out there doing this sort of stuff, the better, just for art in general. Lilac is okay. So we got a question here. My question is: have you given any thought to your process being too strict? It's a really good question. No, no, I can't say so. This is just the way that I draw. Like it's always the steps. There's a thumbnail, a sketch, or something. You tighten it up. Like this is my tighten, or this is actually my tight sketch. Then I'm going to put tight pencils, which would basically be. I could just ink over this, honestly, but I'm just going to do the pencil route. See, like you guys don't see all the stuff I do. Like I showed, I think in one of the live streams, it may have been a week ago, 2 weeks ago, where I showed you guys what I do at work, and it's a very cartoony style, and there's no line art really. It's usually just colored over. So I guess it just depends on the style that you're going for, really. But I don't find this too strict. I guess it depends what you're drawing. Like if you look at this, I've got this thing here, this massive dude here with 3 fingers eating I don't know what, and then this gnarled cat over here looks like the guy from RoboCop with all that toxic goo thrown on him. Speaking of which, I'm gonna give him some more hair, just strands. Like the realistic, the real life aspects of this are pretty rough, pretty like open. So it kind of lets you get away with stuff like this. But doing what I was doing in that role-playing book, there's a reason why the first page starts with a superhero. Because you know right away that there's, in the style that the art's in, you know how credible you can get. So when you show real people, they don't have to look like real people. But anyway, I guess it's just a style thing. This style here, no, I personally don't feel like it's too restrictive myself. Ian saying something that's actually absolutely wonderful, and if you guys are listening or watching the YouTube, I hope if this is happening with you guys, then honestly, it's like my job, I guess, is complete. Which is, I wouldn't be drawing every day if it weren't stumbling upon your Ustream. If I'm helping you guys draw, hey, that's great. Yeah. Oh God, sorry, what's that? Lilac, I understand that this is your particular method, but do you think that the traditional drawing is holding you back digitally? Probably, right? Because digital is a different tool, and Oh shit! I put that head on there. Crap. Digital does its own sort of thing, and because I'm used to drawing with regular methods, it's not. I'm still conforming to what a pencil would make me do, right? That's just how I'm used to doing this sort of thing. I guess if you started growing up just doing digital, there's a lot of stages you might not even do. So I probably agree with you. Yep. Hey, Michael. Oh, okay. Um, yep. Mark Criley is, or if I say his name, Criley. He's a phenomenal artist. You're trying to get this. I know my buddy Will Robson. We kind of go back and forth about adding like this stage here, this pencil stage to your digital work. Honestly, like I flip flop so much, it's tough. Now it's mostly we only. I can only speak for myself, but I flip flop so much because it's always like trying to hit deadlines, and if you can speed that process up, the faster the better. However, I feel when I do that, I'm missing a lot. Like all this underdrawing structure, I would have done as I inked. But now that I have it, I feel like okay, now I can just literally turn on some music or just draw this, and it's not a big deal. So it's more of a deadline thing, really. If you don't have deadlines, I would do whatever you need to do to actually make it the best that you can make it, in my opinion. All right, so we're gonna start doing the type pencils here for Jessup. And like I say, hopefully this won't take too. I mean, there's a lot to draw here, but hopefully it won't take too long, so I can show you guys the coloring. Because I've had some people asking about that. And if you don't have time to stay, or if you want to watch like a real legit tutorial on it, one more time, check out Dave Raposa's tutorial. You can check it out on Facebook, I believe. And this style here that I'm doing this in, there's really no, there's line weights, but they're pretty tame. And there's no heavy shadows, at least in shots like this. Let me actually just turn this down. It's still a little too bright. So when you zoom out, like those pencils, they start to look pretty legit. When you get in real close, it's kind of a gross looking brush. It's the problem with this stuff is it's never really sharp. It's just light and dark. So you just kind of got to get used to it. I'm not quite sure what clothes I'm going to put Jessup in here because, like I say, he is just relaxing here. I don't want him always wearing the same clothes. And a muscle shirt just seems kind of too. Maybe I'll just put him in like a t-shirt. And his eyes are like little triangles. They're just like weird shapes. And you have the big old contented eyebrows. Yeah, like Ian's saying, and me and him are beating the same drum here. That tutorial that I just told you about, it's $5 for 5 hours of Photoshop instructions. Even, and I've heard people say this, and after I got it, I agree. Again, I guess it depends on what exactly you use Photoshop for. But the brushes alone were not, like there's no magic brushes, and he talks about that in the tutorial as well. Like I'm using, I believe, the same pencil that he was using. I just like the way it looked. But he goes over why it really doesn't even matter the brushes. It's just you got to find just what feels good for you. So I've had people ask, and I'm actually going to be doing a video for Manga Studio, because people they do like kind of going back to that role modeling I was telling you about, where maybe they like the way my art's turning out and they want to try it. They just want to try it. You never know what you can get by trying somebody else's style, right? And so he kind of just goes over why just playing around, like the brush doesn't exactly matter all the time. Sorry, I'm just kind of getting lost here. He's always got to have the shredded muscles here. And I've said it before, this character too, it's my way of just being able to draw like my favorite kind of characters like Juggernaut, the Hulk, all these ridiculously muscled dudes. I don't know why. They're just to me, there's something cool about being able to draw. Not being able to draw, but drawing just ridiculous dumb muscles like this. They look kind of cool. Like all this folding stuff that's happening right here, like that's like right here. Like look at all the folds that are happening here. Like that's just. And we're even gonna put. Do I want to put one like that? Nah. There's just so much happening right there that it's just. I don't know. It's interesting. I just like if you like Ed McGuinness, all that kind of stuff. Just love that stuff. Ian saying, I'm just going to answer this, and I just got to get some water, guys, and I'll be right back. Ian's asking, Jonathan, I stepped out for a bit. Do you have any thoughts on a weekly challenge? You create a piece or a theme viewers create and submit to the group? Not really. And the reason that I'm trying to keep all this stuff kind of simple is sort of like the thing we're sort of doing with Happy Sketch Time, where I want to get as much community action happening as possible, but the problem is, like, it takes a lot of time, and hopefully somebody else can kind of helm that stuff. Like, the only thing I can kind of afford right now is just recording what I'm working on. That's why, like, if you guys have noticed, I'm sure you have, and I've talked about it. There's people that have come to my channel because of tutorials that I was doing in the beginning, and I don't think I've had a tutorial in a very long time. I just kind of talk about things that I'm finding out, or just, hey, watch me draw and I'll talk. I'll tell you guys, this sort of stuff here, like that's why I'm excited about this project too, is because it's just relaxing. All the hard work's, to me anyway, the hard work's done. Like getting the thumbnail, that tight sketch underdrawing done, and now I'm just kind of just drawn. And it's fun. Like I can always just like this just looks silly. There's all these like little worm things, and he's slurping some up. Okay, I'll be right back. Just give me like 1 minute. I just got to top up my water. Okay. Oh, here comes Jess up. Hey, buddy. Hi. What you doing? You coming in to say hi? You want to draw some kitty pictures? Yeah? You want to draw some kitty cat pictures? Oh, meow meow. Give me a big stink. What you doing? What you doing? All right. Oh, I was going to tell you guys too. Has anybody here in the chat heard of the Pomodoro technique? It's a time management sort of thing. I just want to see if anybody else has heard of it. I've been using it for, I don't know, maybe about 4 days now. Whew. That is some cool stuff. If you haven't heard about it, we'll talk about it for sure. Especially if you're looking for time management stuff. Steve. Lars, just out of curiosity, how old are you guys? Lars is 25. I'm 31. Is that right? I'm 31, yeah. I'll be 32 in December. Alright, I'm just going to flip the image here so we get a fresh look. Let's turn this back up. Whew, scared me. Alright, so the Pomodoro technique. Sounds like some crazy stuff. So the idea of it is you make a list of what you want to get done today. It can be dishes, laundry, your comic, your drawing, study time, anything, right? So write it down, and then you look at that list and you pick what's the most important one to do right now. And you pick it and you grab a timer. So you could use like your phone. From what I hear, it's recommended you get a kitchen timer, just because of like the Pavlov's dog kind of effect, where it's like if you get into a routine of doing an action and then doing the next step after that, you trigger certain things in your brain that it's like, okay, it's time to get in that mode. An example would be when it's time for bed, most people brush their teeth, and whether you realize it or not, there's something that starts happening where you start to feel maybe not necessarily tired, but you know it's okay, well, the next things that are happening are I'm going to bed. So you pick the task that you want to do, you set the timer for 25 minutes, and you do that task for 25 minutes, and then once the buzzer goes off, you walk away. You leave. You don't stay where you're at. And if you're not able to like get up and walk around, you can just kind of like stretch and not really look at the screen. Don't check your phone. Don't, unless it's an emergency. Don't do anything. Just give your brain a chance to just relax. Okay. Now, any interruptions that come up throughout the day, you just write them down at the bottom of your task list. So once you're done that 3 to 5 minute break, you look back at the task list and you say, what's the most important thing now? Maybe it was an interruption somebody came up with you had to talk to somebody. Or maybe it's still the comic you're still working on. You pick that task, you set it for 25 minutes, and you do it again. You rinse, repeat. And after you do this 4 times, instead of the 5 minute break, you take like a 20 to 30 minute break. It sounds ridiculous. I highly recommend you guys check it out. If it sounds like something, if you have any interest in maybe being able to get more work done, if you're tired of just be like, ugh, I wish I had more time to do stuff, or why isn't something getting done? Try it. I think you might get some good results. I know I have anyway. And it's called the Pomodoro. It's how you say tomato in Italian, I believe it is. Probably wrong. Oh, it's not? Okay. Yes, Lars. I have action set up in Photoshop. Most of this is from the Freddie Williams guide. So I got a function to make a new layer, flip the image, compress everything, make it ready to send out to a client as a 72 dpi image. But all it's doing is, I believe it's image, rotate canvas, flip horizontal. So I just press like F2. That's what I have it set to, and it'll just flip it. Yep. Let's see if we get that hand. Let's flip it back. Steve French, that still kills me. Steve French boy. Alright, so let's get that other shoulder in there. Let's just zoom out and see what we're looking at here. Okay, so he's just wearing a regular t-shirt. Apparently doesn't have any room for a neck because he doesn't have a neck. Yes, Bamf. Actually, well, because there's new people, I guess. If you guys head over to jessupking.com, I have my webcomic up of the original webcomic. For the next 7 days, each page of that webcomic we put up. It's just a placeholder for now. Things are changing, but it's just a kind of quiet release. I'm not really talking about too much. You know, just throw it here and there. But we will make more noise towards the end of the year once we start doing that. What this sort of thing here is just like one of the cool things I like about manga is that they'll just have like their characters just in life, you know, just doing what they do. And so we figured we'd do one of this guy just getting a snack. Gross snack, but that's what I was trying to say too. Like this sort of picture here, it helps let people know about the world, right? Like if I just keep drawing really cool pictures of this guy fighting monsters or something, like that's cool stuff. You might be able to get some posters with that, you know, cool covers. But this kind of stuff here, it lets people know more. Maybe you guys, when you look at something like this, you kind of get an idea of what the character's like, what his personality's like. Alright, so he's done. How much time we got here? $40 left. Okay, so can I finish these other two guys? Let's try it. So let's do this gnarly dude first. I'm just gonna put him on a new layer. Alright. This nose isn't cutting it. I wanted it kind of to be more piggish, but not. I don't even know what I'm saying. Yeah, we'll go this route. We'll give him some real funky lips. Put some of those teeth in the background there. Yes, it's the supersized inflated edition of
Scribbles with Jonathan. So these are just some weird glasses. I don't even know what they are. They're just weird shapes. One, what do we got? Three? One, two, three. One, two, three. One, two, three. Just gonna put some dirt on here. Alright, so he's gotta have those bottom funky lips. Some gums. Ian saying, Jonathan, I just wanted to make mention of the fact that in my time participating in Scribbles, you've played host to people from Denmark, Portugal. I think one person was from Southern. Uh. Oh, wait, what? Oh, what? Like you got a bunch of. I think I'm confused. Did you guys have a movie night where you guys just watched the show? Oh man. Yes, that is actually real cool. This poor guy, man. Look at that face, and he's balding, and ugh, poor guy. Poor guy. He's got this big freaking dude beside him, just eating worms. Ugh. I was thinking while I was like drawing this, I'm like, all right, well, worms are, nobody really likes worms, I don't think, especially when they're eating them. So these guys, they're all gonna look kind of like gross themselves, and they're all disgusted that somebody's eating that. And then I'm thinking, well, would they really be grossed out? I mean, it's obviously on the menu. It's not. So you can just bring it with them. But then I remembered, like, okay, well, some people like escargot. I think it's disgusting myself, but hey, people got taste buds, right? Eat what you like. So I figured, okay, well, that kind of makes sense then, I guess. It's believable. Oh, who orders those worms off the menu? Gross. Oh, people that join different. Oh, yeah, yeah, that's absolutely sick. Oh, that's what? You guys are killing me. Oh, that's awesome. I give this guy eyebrows. Nah. We'll just roll up his skin here. And we'll give him a ring. Yeah, ring is cool. Big, nasty knuckles. Ba-da-doo-doo-doo-doo. Let's see how it's going. Michael's got a question. How are you finding the new workflow? Working for you? Yeah. Hey, and question done. No, this kind of method here, I posted as a Dave Raposa sort of style. But it works for, it makes doing the webcomic much easier, right? Because the only other step after we got this is just adding color, which is actually something I was kind of dreading. Like, if I did the webcomic, would people check it out if it was just black and white? Like, I know I don't mind it, but I think given the choice, most people probably prefer color. You just get more stuff out of it, right? And it's kind of like, well, the color is just an extra step, and you know, it's hard enough to find time to do this and that. But after I'd seen Dave's stuff, it was just okay. Well, you can have simple colors with simple shading and rendering, and it doesn't really take too much time. Considering the art stage, like this stage here, it's still fit. Like, I could send this to somebody to ink, right? It's pretty, rough clean, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't mind it, and I think it serves the purpose for the comic. And like I say, it does let it be color, which means if it ever does see print, gross. More cost. It's easier. Oh, black and white's easier to read, or the color's easier to read? Do you think? And plus, this style is real dirty too, man. Like, it's. Colors is more easier to read for you. Okay. Especially the coloring's done right. I think I would agree with you on that. Hopefully the colors are leading you to something to look at, right? It's not just like, oh, this is blue, so it's blue and all that stuff. All right, I don't even know what the hell. Oh, this is part of his glasses. Make some funky glasses here. All right, so this guy's kind of coming together. And what I like about this stuff, from like I guess a concept art perspective, and if you guys don't really do concept art, we'll just say storytelling perspective. Like, for me anyway, when I get to do this sort of thing, it lets you just get creative, make things. I'm not going to make this the best thing on the page. Obviously, the focus is this guy right here, right? He's the character. But this sort of thing over here, I could start. You guys have heard me do that sort of thing on the past videos and streams, especially for the Guildborn stuff, where we were like inventing classes and characters, right? So when you do things like this, I find anyway that it helps enrich your world a bit without actually having to spend. It's how writers, they'll do world building. If you guys ever heard of that, and what that is, if you're not familiar, is it's exactly as it sounds. You're just building the world. You're telling yourself what can and can't happen before you even start doing work. And it makes working much easier, if you ask me. So what this sort of thing does, right, it's like, well, I need races to populate my worlds and stuff. So even though this guy's just a sketch for fun, who knows? Maybe we'll go back to him and these guys are like slaves, or these guys are politicians who have a real way of selling galactic ice cream or something. I don't know. But I think you guys know what I'm saying here. So it's, I don't know. I find this stuff pretty important. Plus, you can, man, I'm all over the place. Speak, Jonathan. But doing this stuff, you can find little things about your character that you might not normally do, right? So if I write this scene with Jessup walking into a bar, sitting down and ordering some worms, I'd be drawing it on the fly. Maybe I wouldn't be coming up with all this stuff here, right? Because it's a page, and it's like, you gotta do the page. But when it's just a sketch or I don't even know if this is a sketch or if this is a promo piece or just background art for something maybe down the road. But I can look at this sort of thing, where I can print these sort of things out and just kind of put them on my wall, right? So when I'm looking to draw these guys, I can kind of look and be like, that was a funny face I drew on them. Or look at these dudes. Let's put them in the background. Just that kind of stuff. Let me just go up. Make sure I got everything in. Color is the make and break in a piece. I believe if you're going color, you gotta. I've worked with some poor colorists on books. Maybe my art wasn't as clear to them, so they didn't know where to go with it. But it definitely does do some things. Bando is asking, when does one change a Cintiq stylus nib? That I don't know. That's a. I haven't replaced mine, and I've had mine for 2 or 3 years now. Or no, maybe I've had it. Yeah, no, 3 years now. I'm not sure. Maybe it starts wearing down, or it'll start. I'm not sure. I just know when I had my Intuos, I had to replace it because it was cutting. It was cutting holes in my tablet. That's not good. But I'll let you guys know when I do. Maybe I'm just a bad artist. I haven't been drawing enough. I haven't had to replace my nib. I'm just quickly here, just adding some line weights here because you don't need this stuff. I just want to make sure this guy is definitely in front of Jessup. I don't want him looking too much like the same lines. But the point of this style, this is all experimental too, right? But I don't want to be spending too much time doing this because, this could be one panel of 4 or 6. And the size that I'm going with, that I've decided, is a manga page size, just because there's a reason, I think anyway, why they're not magazine. If I had to guess, and I could be totally wrong, but it's the excuse I'm using, is that it's easier to do the pages. You don't have to. Mangas come out faster, I think. I could be wrong. I don't really know that much, apparently, about comics. But, there's a lot more, mangas come out as graphic novels, yeah? There's a lot more work than a 22-page. So I think that's why. And the other thing, too, right, is when you're working with 11 by 17, there's so much more room on that page. You want to get in there to do details. And if you don't, it can look... It runs a risk of looking flat, or it's just kind of phoned in. With manga pages, it's I think it's a little bit more leeway there, a little bit more free. Plus, I don't know about you cats, but once you start reading manga, I love manga size, man. Just holding it feels like a book. It doesn't feel like a comic. Yeah, well, I'll say that, a comic in North America. Just put that there. Alright, so I think he's pretty much good. I'm not going to put too much line weights on him. Let's just save that up. Oh, how you doing, buddy? I saw the pink text and I was like, oh god, it's that spammer that came last time, was just dropping stuff. Let me just see what we got here. How about a world with no slaves? Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, that's straight up sci-fi fiction. Sure, yeah. Lilac, John, do you draw random panels that come to your mind and then save them for later? No, not really. But what I try to do is Like if this shot here, let's just say for this, what I could do is just go back and go, that'd be a cool shot to put in there, right? Or if we're lucky, if I keep doing this right, these sketches that I'm kind of doing, I can, because they'll be the same size. I can just take it and paste it in, right? I can build something around it. But this is all experimental stuff, right? So we'll see how it goes. But normally, no, I don't. No, I should say that I know that is a little naive. Manga doesn't just come in like a stock size. You're right. Hey, Will. All right, so now we got that. I'm just going to go over Jessup one more time here and just put one more outline on him just so that he can pop over the background. Some of these lines are kind of connecting into the character here, so I just want to make sure that they're get just some mild line weight on them. I don't, like I say, I'm not here to make this the best line art possible. Just readable. So, because the important thing with line weights, right, is we have all these shapes that are all very close to each other here. And if you don't put this sort of like attention in here, a lot of the stuff has a very high risk of just kind of like blending together. That's not good. Then things get muddy and they're not clear. If you ever had like somebody check out your work and say things are muddy, usually that's what they're talking about. You just have so much going on in one area that it's not clear right away as to what exactly they're supposed to be looking at. And you got to do your best not to do that. I still do it. I try my best not to, but it's tough. It's very difficult. I find if you have an open line style, kind of like what I'm doing right here, it's easier not to screw that up, right? But I still recommend putting a line weight on there somewhere just gives it some more life. But it is a style choice, so. But I think most illustrators that are doing black and white art or line art like this, they're putting line weights on. Just got one more other character in the background to do, and then we can just start slapping some colors on. Okay, I get this side. Let's just zoom out, take a look. It's a little better. Yes it is. It's the new Photoshop pencil. It's delicious. Alright, so let's draw his little fangirl back here for him. She's loving him. These eyes aren't selling it to me, so we're gonna do the big. This pencil's too small. So the big ol' crazy eyes. And the eyelashes, just because I have no other way of telling you this is a girl alien creature thing. Oh man. No, Michael's not my brother, but he's definitely a cool guy. He's actually hooked me up with so many sweet comics, guys. And he's the first guy who's written me a very heartfelt letter. And to this day, I still have it taped up in my office, and I look at it from time to time. So, you know, he's a he's one of the top guys in my book. He's a very class guy. Very class guy. Maybe I should just put like some lips on her. Ugh. Yeah. If I'm feeling gross and we're working on it, yes. Look at that. Look at those teeth. I love you, Mr. Jessup. Give you a nice little kiss. So stupid. Alright, let's put these little like thingies on her. Now this sort of stuff here, Ryan Otley does it all the time. I love it. So I'm just gonna swipe the hell out of it. Gives us detail that, I don't know, doesn't take much work. It looks cool. It wasn't a love letter, it was a fling letter. I forgot the context in which you actually sent that, Michael, but it's very uplifting, we'll say that. Picking colors for all this is going to be a little rough. Let's just get some different shapes in here. It's not all. Alright, she needed a braid, right? That's what we were talking about before. Alright, so we got her hands kind of coming in here. Maybe her elbows are dangerously close to his. Let's carry this stuff on down here. Alright, let's put some clothes on her here. La 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 la. Alright, so maybe she's got a cup. I don't know why aliens would have cups, but let's do it. Maybe she spilled a bit because, well, she saw this guy sit down beside her. I'm using her loosely. And I think I'm just going to get absolutely gross with it, and we're going to put the heart. Why not? Alright, so okay, how do I rotate this? Edit, image, rotate canvas 90 degrees. Ugh. Good old Photoshop ways of rotating the canvas. Old versions, I should say. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to try to draw something for them to lean on. I really don't... The perspective's fine, but... Just draw through it here. So pick a line. This is a little trick here. I'm going to show you guys, like when perspective gets a little, you don't know where exactly things are. You can pick one, especially in digital, and then we're just going to copy and paste it and kind of turn it. And you'll see through the magic of digital, it all works out. So flip it back. Alright, so we're going to go with that line. So I'm just going to drag it down to a new one. And we're going to Control T to rotate it. We're just going to bring it down. But I need to line this up with one of the other correct perspectives. So, perspective's a little janky in this pic. This pic. Send nudes. Whoop. Yeah, go there, that one. This one we're going to actually just bring her down a bit. Just going to make sure that these guys' elbows are still hitting. That's fine. Just kind of wing this. Alright, let's erase this one here. Let's actually turn this pencil layer off. We don't need it anymore. This guy's absolutely grossed out that Jessup's beside him.
So it looks like we got about 15 minutes left, guys. So if you guys did have any comments or questions and needed help with anything, hopefully I can help you out. This show's for you guys. So just ask it in the chat in all capitals, and I will do my best to help you out.
Alright, so let's just trying to bring some more perspective back into this. Because I don't want this to get so out of whack that it's like flat. So I'm just kind of like building details in on the perspective grid that was there. Jessup's looking a little flat here, so all that's going to be his body. Do they need chairs? This chair actually doesn't look too bad, so just keep it. Little stool thing back there. And I believe we were supposed to put something above. Was it like this? Well, either way, I can always come back to add the background. What we're going to do is we're just going to merge all this stuff here. We're just going to start throwing some color on here. So that's our lines. We're going to put it on multiply. And let's make a new layer here.
Depth, when you're doing foreshortening, I know about stacking shapes on top of one another, but are there any extra knick-knack lines you can add for long? Yeah, absolutely.
Any kind of anatomy, you can just, why is the new layers not working? There you go. You can just like do this sort of thing. So let's say we got an arm coming at us with a hand. Something wild. We'll put 3 fingers because it's easier. And we know our knuckles are here. Knuckles, knuckles, you know. And elbow. So we got some twists. So we got like some shapes going on, right? So that would be, all you'd really need. But what you can do when you're drawing on top of that is, let's just say do this whole hand here. I'm just going to do the outline real quick. I'll put the details on. So I think what you're talking about with the stacking shapes, Michael, is this part right here. Like you're just kind of folding the stuff in. That's really all you need. But the knick-knack parts that you can absolutely do is like you see these lines that you've added. You can just don't just put lines. Remember, this whole thing is like a shape like this, right? So when you're putting in little knick-knack lines, just make sure you're following that. But what you're doing is you're turning this line theoretically would be like this, right? It would connect that muscle, but you don't have to draw all that. You can just do the knick-knack lines that are following that perspective that they're following. Right? You can do it up here in the hand, knuckles. So as long as it's following that shape, you should be good to go. Okay, so got that hand. Let's do these guys down here. All right, so let's just label that lines. And we're gonna change it to multiply. Then we're gonna make a new layer. Let's get a new brush, and so what we're doing is and again, this is the Dave Raposa thing that I'm ripping off. I'm going to start with just putting in a background color. I know Jessup's going to be blue, so I want to keep it around that kind of hue. So he's around this area. So one of those aliens is probably going to be, maybe the girl should be up here in the purples. So blue, purple. Or actually, I need him to pop. So if he's blue, whoops, I don't know what happened here. Oh, so loud. What are you doing, Photoshop? Oh, this is great. What are we doing here? Escape? Okay, is the tablet not working? I don't know what's going on with Photoshop here. What the fuck? This is wild. I can't get rid of this. Can I lasso this? Why is it still stuck on this? Okay, can I fucking... There we go. I have no clue what the hell just happened there. Oh, Photoshop. You sensual beast. Okay, so... What I was saying was, he's blue. So we need colors that kind of contrast that. So what's opposite blue? A lot of hot colors. Reds and oranges. So if I do reds and oranges, he'll pop more. So that means we're going to try like a muted kind of cream color for the background. And let's just make a new layer. So I know he's going to be blue. We need him to pop. Although I want him in this attire to be kind of dark, so we'll kind of go down here. And what we're doing is this is actually a really cool thing I learned from that tutorial. This thing right here would have been worth $5 to learn myself. So normally how I would work is I would just make a flats layer, right? It's got all the colors of the character and all that cool stuff. But what this one thing that was in this tutorial showed me, saved me so much time, and actually changed a lot of how I look at layering. So I'm going to share it with you guys in a second. What we're doing is we're making, I guess it'd be a mask. So I'm outlining Jessup here, And then what we're going to do is we're going to make a new layer that uses this outline, which we'll fill, uses that as our guideline. So I can never draw outside of that. And what that lets me do is I can start going like crazy like this, and this right here that's happening, that won't happen anymore. It'll actually stop at whatever shape here that I'm drawing. And it might not sound like anything right now, but for those of you that are looking to speed up coloring, this might help you. And if we keep all these colors on separate layers, that means we can always go back and adjust, which is a good thing. But sometimes colors, like, you don't know until you're into it that some of the colors just not gelling right. Like, oh man, maybe this should have been, you know, a different color. But it looks like we're about to wrap up, so I'm just going to show you guys this layer thing, and then if there's no questions, I guess that'll be it for this week. So I have that, and then I grab my magic wand tool, and make sure sample all layers is off, so it's just a selection there, and then we fill it. Just making sure that it got everything. Looks good. So the idea now is, like, now that I have that layer selected, I can go up to layer, new, layer, and there's a pop-up that shows up. And what you want to click is this right here. Use previous layer to create clipping mask, and that's this layer that we have selected. So when you click that layer, you'll see there's a little arrow that pops up inside it. So now I can actually go like this. So just to say I want Jessup's face to be bright red. I can go in here like, yeah, and see it'll actually stop. And I can do this. I can keep making new layers for each color, so that maybe at the end I don't want it red. And you can just go to image, adjust hue saturation, you know, be like, all right, maybe we want him to be, you know, a little more like a Caucasian dude. Or I want him to be one of the brothers, you know. You start doing that stuff. So it's actually really powerful to be able to do that, in my opinion, with that stuff. So with that, I guess I will say thank you everybody for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the show. I apologize once again for the miscommunication of yesterday. The excuse I'm going with, one more time, is the app that I was using every post, I believe it's called. It had sent from my phone, but apparently it actually didn't send to the internet. Lars saying you can press Alt and press the line between layers to do the same clipping mask. Okay, well there you go. Thank you. That's good stuff. That's always a. So for those of you that maybe didn't hear me, what you can do is you can actually press Alt and click the line between the layers and do the same clipping mask. So that'll save you some extra time instead of going to the menus. So this show is every Wednesday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're watching the show right now, subtract 2 hours, and that's where you can check it out. Also, for those of you that came a little bit later, I apologize for my site being down. I'm in the process of moving everything over. A lot of the articles, if not all the articles, are probably lost. Hopefully I can get them back. If not, that's okay. And if you guys wanted to check out the webcomic that I'm working on, Jessup King, head over to jessupking.com. And I will be posting some things up there right now. Well, not right now, but soon. There's no rush to get the comic started just yet. It's just a placeholder. And over the next 7 days, I'm releasing 1 page a day of the original mini comic that got this character even started. And he's deviating big time from that. But I think it's. I just wanted to have. I want to have it up there as a place for people to always go back to check out where things kind of start. So, you guys check that out. Appreciate your time, all the support, all the really cool chats that we had, and all the uplifting comments. Really, really, really appreciate that. So again, thank you guys so much. Keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I'll talk to you guys next Wednesday. Bye.